old man winter, if you will, but it's just going to be a break because old man winter is going to make himself known and felt before the weekend is over. And so, we'll just take it one day at a time and see and prepare. Now, if you have to do any traveling, though, hopefully you can avoid having to go into any of these areas where the weather is expected to be bad, and hopefully that be will not be the case. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. We're also live on our YouTube channel. You can get the YouTube link on the Facebook page, the Selma Post Herald, and also on our homepage with the Selma Post Herald also, but you have to scroll down a couple of stories. I'm going to have to rearrange some things before the day is out because a lot has gone on this week. And on the homepage of the Selma Post Herald, we added for the King holiday the speeches, three of Dr. King's famous or best known speeches, and one other one that it's not as well known, but it's just as important. So you have to scroll down past the Selma to Montgomery march speech at the conclusion of that march, and also the I Have a Dream speech, I've Been to the Mountaintop, and his acceptance speech for the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. And then after you get past that, you can go down, scroll down a little, you'll see the WHBB logo and Viewpoint, and it also will show you where the link is that you go to. So now, let's see if we can't get on top of some of this weather as we're preparing for the weekend. Governor Kay Ivey has issued a state of emergency, winter state of emergency. In fact, I'm going to play her comments. She recorded a YouTube video that is available on the selmapostherald.com website. It is the first story on the homepage. And before I do that, though, I hear that echo just getting ready to be a problem, but not for long, because we are going to we're going to deal with that in just a few minutes. I'll tell you. Okay, now here we go. This is Governor Kay Ivey.
In Alabama, we are no stranger to Mother Nature. However, when it comes to winter weather, we are not as familiar. So as we head into this weekend, I'm urging my fellow Alabamians, especially in the northern part of our state, to stay weather aware. Based on the current forecast, we have a few concerns, including potential dangerous driving conditions. For those reasons, I have issued a state of emergency for potentially impacted counties. I have also directed certain state agencies to position resources so we can prepare and respond effectively. be sure to tune in to your local meteorologist. Y'all stay safe, stay warm, and stay weather aware.
And that was Governor Kay Ivey with a YouTube a message about this wintry weather, but it looks like North Alabama is going to catch the brunt of the dangerous driving conditions. That's going to be a real issue. And in fact, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's see if we can't take a look at what is happening with this winter storm, because these storms can be unpredictable in that sometimes it's just a matter of a shift of the wind, that could make the difference between whether or not an area receives ice or snow or frigid temperatures. So you just don't know. It's really hard to say. Tell you what I'm going to do. Going to see if we can't get a better picture of what is happening with this storm system. And as you know, Fox is our network here at the station, our official network, in fact. And so I'm going to go and switch to the Fox News weather channel. And they have a major update on this winter storm and what we can expect. And I'm going to see if we can get some information on that from the Fox Weather channel.
Having said that, you know what's to come for the rest of the day, because right now we still have mild air in place.
Fish can't resist. Increased performance with our replacement.
Some of these things. These are impacts that we saw back in 2021. So we are really looking at sort of a flashback of conditions that we've seen in past storms. Looking at the snow that we're anticipating for Little Rock, about 1 to 3 inches, because we're going to see a combination of everything. It's not just snow. We're going to get sleet and ice accumulation as well. Looking at some of these bigger snowstorms, of course, we're not going to be anywhere close to that for Little Rock. I think for Little Rock, the biggest concern is going to be the combination of the different types of winter precipitation. Ice accumulation for Little Rock, 1/4 to 1/2 inch.
Yeah, that's a lot when you think about what we could be dealing with power outages and just the delays on the roads. And after these storms move through the southern plains, it's going to head to the east, and the ice storm warnings have already been issued for this Christmas storm. It's going to target some major cities across the southeast. Roanoke, Virginia, good morning to you. Cold air already in place, but things are just about to get started. Let's give you some numbers and some graphics to put this into context for you for places across the southeast. Now, a place like Lexington, Kentucky, when we talk about the forecast, now calling for 8 to 12 inches of fresh snow, will this be one for the books? Of course, because it's impactful, but as far as numbers, well, records...
And we're going to hold up for a minute as we head down the street to Cornerstone. And Jewel, how are you this morning?
Right now, everybody's healthy and everybody's put on the ground. We are we've got a great house at 69 Barrett Road on the corner line. Sitting on 212 acres, and it has right at 3,000 square feet. It is priced to sell. It is what's called a listing agent, that is for the living, and or either you can call any agent that you want to. Please remember, I lost the sale not long ago to a good friend because he said, but your name wasn't on the sign. And that doesn't matter. You call whoever you want to. If you see something you want to see, you do not have to use the person whose name is on that sign, Randy. And then we have one at 701 Dallas Avenue. That is a wonderful house that has had a big price improvement. It's been reduced to 119,000. It's a historic home that is ready to go. It's moved in ready, and I mean, it has a wonderful courtyard. It has 2 stories, and it has so call Kevin Barnes on that one at 701 Dallas. Or again, your favorite real estate agent, whoever it is, and they can show you these properties. We have a contract on 310 Barrett Road, 508 Hampton, Cage Cove, and 700 Roundtree, and some others. So if you think we don't sell, if you think we don't work, if you think we just sit around doing you're mistaken, because we do work. We've got agents who are busy, agents who are just always doing something. So if you want somebody to help you and really, really make it happen for you, give us a call, 872-0441. I'll come by 519 Lauderdale Street, just down 2 doors down from the radio station, and deal with some of the agents at Cornerstone. You won't be sorry.
Well, thank you so much, Jewel. Hopefully you don't have to do any traveling this weekend outside of our area.
Oh, we've got showings here. We can't be sitting around doing nothing. We've got house showings.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't have to go to Birmingham, do you?
No, we don't have to go to Birmingham, but we're like post office. We go in whatever kind of weather.
Yeah, I know that's right. Well, you be safe and have a good weekend.
Rain boots and raincoats.
Snow, whatever, huh?
With hoods, we've got all kinds that we can use to show you houses.
Well, that's wonderful. That's good. Okay. Well, that's what you wanted. I want to see something that when the weather is at its worst. That's how you know what the house can do, huh?
That's right. You know if it's working, or you know if it's too cold, or you know what.
If it's not insulated, you know all of that, huh?
Right. You can tell a lot.
Yep. All right, then. Well, that sounds good. Well, it's always a pleasure talking with you. You have yourself a good weekend and upcoming week.
Thank you, Randy.
All righty. That was Jewel Williamson with Cornerstone Realty. We're going to take this break, and I'll be back with more right after these messages.
Well, repairing your vehicle to showroom condition demands cutting-edge technology. That's what you get at the all-new George's Paint and Body Shop in Selma. After tornado damage total reconstruction, George's has the latest advanced technology, especially designed for today's multi-tech vehicles. The Bosch calibration system restores safety features like lane departure and collision sensors. The 2 new Chief frame machines and computer laser measuring system delivers pinpoint accuracy down to the millimeter. And the 2 new downdraft paint booth units provide perfect quality retention. And with the reconstruction comes a much larger facility designed for an increased capacity and quicker turnaround time. George's deals directly with your insurance company, but they work for you. Call to schedule your estimate and repairs today. See pros Eric and Scooter Hagen at George's Paint and Body Shop, 1215 J.L. Chestnut Jr. Boulevard, or call 334-872-1441. Y'all new George's Paint and Body Shop has reopened in Selma. By George. It's a big world out there, fast-paced and full of challenges. The last thing you need when you have a vehicle accident is more hassle on top of hassle. Wouldn't it be great if you could just go sit down and talk to Mom and Pop? Well, you can. Mom are alive and well at our beauty body shop, Selma. Aaron and Cindy Bryans have owned and operated an auto beauty shop for a good while now. They make Cindy a caring family approach to their customers. Certainly they have the latest multi-tech equipment and highly trained technicians, and they have an excellent relationship with all the insurance providers. But they have something no other body shop has. They have Aaron and Cindy, the mom and pop of vehicle body repair. A simple approach to discussing the damage, the estimate, and the factory quality repairs. Please drive
Fish
safe when you
can't
have an
resist.
accident.
Increased performance with our replaceable weights, sound rattles, and super sensitive attractant. It's better, lasts long. Better in almost every fishing situation and for every type of fish. Catch more and bigger fish with Mighty Bites. Guaranteed more bites or your money back. Order now and get 4 free gifts, including the incredible UFO glow kit to get the bite at night. Call or click today.
Approximately
buying and selling a home can be really hard these days. That's why who you work with matters. I recently helped a couple buy their dream home.
Storm.
Even before selling their current one. They were both very busy and didn't have time to sell the traditional way.
Let's go to the phone line. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Oh, good morning, Randy. You call the name Bernard Reynolds.
Bernard Reynolds. That name sounds awfully familiar.
Buy Before You Sell program was a game changer. They were able to buy and sell on their own schedule. It was so easy and they were thrilled. See how you can buy before you sell at homelight.com today.
The West is our canvas. The flag,
I'm
our
trying
guide.
to remember, but yeah, it sounds familiar. You're not talking about the Judge Reynolds, are you?
I think I thought on my marriage certificate when people were doing some investigation and what to get material for their book, that name came up, and that's the reason I asked you if you remember that. Because during that era, when Bernard Reynolds and I guess Rex Morrison and quite a few other citizens, I think it's a group of people who were instrumental in shaping Dallas County to be the beacon that it is, we'll say beacon. Having said that, Randy, oh my goodness, I used to have so much material that I don't have anymore, so I guess that's the reason people try to see me as a reference. But through the years, I've just started and lost it. But let me just say also, as we prepare for this death of Mark Myers, young people, please stop doing what you're doing. I don't know the condition of the cameraman. I do think that some of my friends know that family. I didn't know that family, but I still want you to know that it has burned us. It has hurt us because we saw that young man grow up around us, and he has had an impact on us. Even when he returned to this area and push his sleeve back and continue to work, it just hurts me. It has been devastating all week. It's just too close. So I just wanted to say that. But anyway, those people who are gathering information in order to set the record straight about Dallas County and how it has shaped our community, you're welcome to continue to dig for information, and I'll try to help you find it as much as possible. Now, as it relates to Selma area, when over there in that area, and what Mr. Towns has done, I appreciate what Mr. Nunn has come in and ushered in, because Mr. Towns selling his mower for a long time. And I was one of the ones who tried and helped get him started. And he did some of those things in order to implement and get done. But he got in there and he turned his back on us. Now, Miss Valerie Rubin was the one who really was doing an awful lot in order to make the progression of the community. But when they chose, it was that commissioner, when they chose to not revive the pavement in front of Tipton Street, that was a major thorn in Miss Rubin's back. But since they did that in order to get those people within that settlement area, in order to work against the person who would have been the better commissioner for that area. So I just want to point that out because a lot of times people don't even see the full, beyond their noses. I worked with Mr. Cornell Towns back before, and I know what I'm talking about. So you have to say whatever you want to. I know what I'm talking about. And it's sad how he is set on this moment. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you for calling. 334-875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And now let's continue with the report, the travel report. Because we have a lot of people in this area that do have to travel. We have truck drivers and in our audience, and we have people who have to go to different places for various reasons, and so you need to know what is happening in the nation and to Southeast. And so this is from the Fox Weather Channel, and you can also view it on our because it's also going to be live streaming on the YouTube channel, selmapostherald.com YouTube channel. Now, I'm also going to get into a little later the comments made by the water board members and the county commissioner and the probate judge. That's coming up, and I'm going to see if I can't do a little recap on some things that happened earlier in the week on the King holiday. I didn't do anything on the Safe Haven March, and so I'm going to see if I can't find. I think I've got at least maybe let you hear a little bit of some of the audio, some of the speeches that were made on Monday. But first, let's see if we can get up to date on what's happening with this weather that's coming in this weekend. Oh, and before I do that, don't forget Strong's 3. They're on top of it. They said no, tomorrow may not be the best day. So Strong's 3 is out today. They're going to have ribeye steak, by the way, near the corner of how they added to the menu for this weekend. They're near the corner of Highway 80 and the Kings Bend Road. Anthony he was out there early. He was out there before I was out there. I'm here at 6. So he's been working. I don't know what time he got started, but he's ready. So you may want to stack up on a little something for the weekend just in case, huh?
Welcome back to Fox right here with Brett and Merwin. And multiple states are issuing states of emergency ahead of this weekend storm. The winter weather alerts are up for more than 40 states, and all of the snow and ice, it's going to be enough to potentially halt travel for days, potentially triggering thousands of flights cancellations. Certainly plenty of delays by the time this storm starts to peak out there.
This is a massive winter storm, and the big challenge here is that this is not isolated to a particular part of the country where it's going to be a limited number of airports. You're talking about major hubs like Dallas, Atlanta, Charlotte, up into the Northeast, and many of those areas are not necessarily used to dealing with the winter weather. So we expect that airlines are going to really ramp up some of their proactive cancellations, and we think this is going to continue into next week. So pack your patience if you're traveling this weekend and into next week.
Yeah, no kidding. Make sure you have everything like anything you need for any type of delays, emergency kits in your car. The travel experts are in agreement. It's going to be a mess for folks hitting the roads, the tarmacs. This is going to take us through the weekend and into the start of the week, especially when you think about Sunday and a Monday, trying to get to work, trying to get to school. At this point, it's probably going to be the case where we've got a number of school closures, perhaps even trying to work from home if possible. I think we're going to see those pop up. De-icing is certainly going to be a concern. This is going to impact a huge chunk of the country from the plains to the southeast to the northeast, and the trickle-down effect is going to be massive. It's early on a Friday morning. We already have 353 delays. Most of those are coming out of Chicago and LAX. Now, LAX has been having about 15 to 20-minute taxi delays to and from the gate, so nothing weather-related. You get a couple of light scattered showers across Southern California today as that storm starts to open up and move across the southern tier and merge and really start to add moisture to the storm that we're watching. We're also seeing some cancellations. Dallas, 105 cancellations already this morning. Having said that, you know what's to come for the rest of the day, because right now we still have mild air in place. We have some scattered storms in the form of rain. Things change tonight through tomorrow, and that's when we start to talk about the snow and the ice and the gusty winds behind that, which is going to be a big part of the story, especially be prepared to go without power with the cold air in place for at least 3 to 4 days.
And let's follow the storm from beginning to end. It's all starting in the southern plains today. So cities like Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Dallas, all seeing major impacts. There's a live look at Dallas and Tulsa this morning. Again, everything is okay, but conditions are going to dramatically deteriorate as we work our way through this afternoon and certainly by tonight. So your hours to prep, they are coming to a close. Let's start things off with what we're expecting in Little Rock to really break it down per city location. Now, the snow impacts for Little Rock, you know, we're looking to live across the southern plains in the southeast is the bitter cold air, how it's playing into the storm, but most importantly, how it really settles in behind the storm. You know, for a place like Little Rock, we could have 4 consecutive days of temperatures that are going to be very cold. And the record low temperatures, you know, the coldest temperature ever recorded in Little Rock is -1. That was set back on February 16th. We could definitely be challenging, you know, some of these things. These are impacts that we saw back in 2021. So we are really looking at sort of a flashback of conditions that we've seen in past storms. Looking at the snow that we're anticipating for Little Rock, about 1 to 3 inches, because we're going to see a combination of everything. It's not just snow. We're going to get sleet and ice accumulation as well. Looking at some of these bigger snowstorms, of course, we're not going to be anywhere close to that for Little Rock. I think for Little Rock, the biggest concern is going to be the combination of the different types of winter precipitation. Ice accumulation for Little Rock, 1/4 to 1/2 inch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot when you think about what we could be dealing with power outages and just the delays on the roads. And after these storms move through the southern plains, it's going to head to the east, and the ice storm warnings have already been issued for this crippling storm. It's going to target some major cities across the southeast. Roanoke, Virginia, good morning to you. Cold air already in place, but things are just about to get started. Let's give you some numbers and some graphics to put this into context for you for places across the southeast. Now, a place like Lexington, Kentucky, when we talk about the forecast, now calling for 8 to 12 inches of fresh snow, will this be one for the books? Of course, because it's impactful, but as far as numbers, well, records go all the way back to 1875, and the biggest storm that they've had was back in 2015, 17 inches of fresh snow. The next storm on the list was 2015 with 14 inches of fresh snow, so the forecast is just under that. But having said that, it's not just about the snow, right? It's also about the ice, and the ice is going to be a major concern, as well as some of the winds that come in behind this. I think when we talk about this forecast, we talk about also the winds that could add to the problems with the ice on the power line and the trees. That cold air is in place. The moisture arrives Saturday. And look at the duration. This is Saturday morning to Saturday evening when we're dealing with the snow. Finally, comes Sunday, that warm air starts to nose in, and then now we're watching for some freezing rain, some sleet. We go back to snow for a bit. Behind it, more in the way of those winds will keep us rather cold. That's just one example. Here's Memphis, 1 to 3 inches of fresh snow. Britta, along the I-40 corridor and north of here, you're going to be dealing with ice and snow, major thoroughfare. This is a concern. When you're talking ice, 1/2 inch, man, and the cold weather behind it, it's a problem for us with the winds. Timing-wise, you're looking at Saturday. You got a little bit of a mix. You look at the profile, and then there's that warm air of nose. I think Memphis to Nashville, things have changed a little bit. It moves a little farther north.
You know, hopefully that's a trend that continues, because you would rather get maybe the possibility of some rain into Memphis. Unfortunately, how it's looking right now is that we're going to have snow with the ice accreting on top of that snow. If you can imagine, it's almost like an igloo effect.
Yeah.
It's very important for these folks that live down south. Take the opportunity to get as much snow off of your driveway in between the storm. Of course, you got to limit your time outside, but go off and try and take it off, because once the ice sets in, whatever's there will be encased and you won't be able to remove it. Yeah. So, you know, with how cold it's going to be behind the storm, if you want a shot of getting your car out of your driveway after this, it's incredibly important to try and get that snow off before the freezing rain and the ice sets in.
And try and open the door on the cars. That's always a big concern there.
Ice certainly is a tough scenario, and you're seeing a lot of forecast here for that. In any extreme weather, of course, safety is always the number one priority, both for the public, but also for those utility crews doing everything they can to get that power restored as quickly as possible. But these are some of the toughest scenarios, certainly with that combination of weather.
And Washington, D.C. is gearing up for what could be the biggest snowstorm that they have experienced in 10 years. We got watch.
And I'm going to stop at this point. Just wanted to give you a taste of what is happening nationally. But Alabama is a part of that scenario. You know, all of the maps that these national weather people are showing has Montgomery figuring prominently in the map. And, of course, Atlanta. And what's coming in from Mississippi. So this is something we need to kind of keep our eye on. We've got, I think, several counties in our state, primarily in the northern part of the state, that Governor Ivey was concerned about, that she's already positioned as and has given the emergency weather status to in anticipation for snow and ice. And so hopefully our neighbors in the north will not have any deaths or major damage. But now, and I don't know again what the electric grid map is like. You know, sometimes power is being sent to one area from another area, and I don't know to what extent we have to depend on other areas of the state supplying power to our various power companies. But if that's the case, if we have any power stations or substations in the northern part of the state that supply us, we too could experience power outages as a result of the ice on the power lines. And when they snap those power lines, if it's a major line, we could be affected as well. So be prepared just in case. And I don't know the answer, you know. I don't know what that is. But anyway, what's today? Today is Friday, so I think it was Wednesday. The Selma, the Dallas County Water Board and the Dallas County Commission made an announcement about $500,000 that has been granted through the community development, the Alabama Department of Economic Development and Community Affairs. And the money will be used to help address some issues that primarily affect the residents of Pine Glen and Craig Field. And this is board member Jackie Averhart and Commissioner Connell Towns explaining what this money and how this money is going to be used.
Has been awarded $500,000 in the prior year of 2025 from the Community Development Block Grant funds. And this will be to implement critical public water system improvements in unincorporated Selma community. The project is a coordinated effort between the Dallas County Commission and the Dallas County Water and Sewer Authority to address persistent water service disruptions caused by deteriorated asbestos concrete water mains. The project will take place in a residential neighborhood which consists of 258 occupied households serving a total of 976 residents. Approximately 99% of the beneficiaries are low to moderate income households, and 93% are minority residents, making this project fully eligible under the CDBG National Initiative.
Cornell Town, Dallas County Commission, District 1. Thank God for this day. I'm very happy here today knowing that we have received and getting funds in to upgrade our water system. Much needed. We're working within our old system, a lot of repairing on. I just want to thank God for this day, that our residents can look forward to better water in our community.
And probate judge Jimmy Nunn also had some comments.
For this day, y'all, to come. Last time we had this water project in Boca Chica, and Lumpkin, Commissioner Lumpkin's district and Commissioner Justice prior to. But now we have our grant writer who applied for this CDBG grant. And the CDBG grant is in the amount of $500,000 as stated as with Ms. Abrahart and Commissioner. And this is going to help the citizens of Dallas County now in the west area. It was more of in the Boca Chica area, but this is, and we do this hopefully we can do it every 2 years. If we can get this grant completed and closed out, we will apply for additional grants in the Towns District. Now, we have to thank some people for what they have done, and that's Kara Stallman, our grant writer. She applied for this grant and she received this grant, and it's on behalf of the Dallas County Commission. We also have to thank Governor Ivey. The Dallas County Commission recognizes the support from Governor Ivey and Kenneth Boswell, along with the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs. We know it as ADECA, for their continued commitment for strengthening communities through the CDBG program. And supporting and thanking Governor Ivey, the commissioners, we just want to let her know that we thank her for a job well done. Governor Ivey and Kenneth Boswell, both of them have been working diligently to see that we receive this grant. And for the people within the area, for the residents that live out there within that area, it is well needed. This is going to be replacing, as was stated, a prolonged efforts and the emergency repairs that have been done. But this is a coordinated effort to replace these pipes out there. And we know what type of pipes they're out there. They're the asbestos concrete pipes that's going to be replaced out there. And as was stated, it's probably around about 2,200 linear feet of asbestos concrete pipe that's going to be replaced out there in a residential neighborhood. So this is going to not only help the residents out in the neighborhood, but it's going to help the water authority. Instead of having to go out there every day and to replace these pipes and to do the emergency repairs, these are going to be new pipes. And not only is this going to help them, but it's going to help the health and the safety. That if you got water going through asbestos pipes, that's not good for you. Asbestos concrete pipes. So all of these pipes are going to be replaced, and then the safety of our citizens within that area. So we just thank, again, the governor of the state of Alabama. We thank the director, Kenneth Boswell, with ADECA, and we thank Kara Stallman, who is our grant writer, Selma Water Authority, West Dallas Water Authority. We thank you all for the vision of trying to help the citizens within that area out there. That means a lot, that you're looking out for the people, the less fortunate. And we hope that we can do more with them, with y'all partnering with the Dallas County Commission. Hopefully we can come together and do more things as we proceed to go forward.
And that was probate Judge Jimmy Nunn. They also said that there's a $4 million grant that has been approved that will deal with sewage. And the sewage, there's some sewage issues that's been going on in Selma and particularly in the Tippin area, for some time now. So there's a $4 million grant that is designed to be used to address those sewage issues. People have had raw sewage in their yard and that kind of thing, and so they're getting ready to start. I think the time frame was that they would send out the job for bidding next month, and after they've chosen which company is going to do the work will start. So we're talking within the next 90 days. I think this work should begin on both the water treatment for the residents at Pine Glen and Craig Field, and also for the sewage for most of Selmont. I don't know if it's all of Selmont, but I understand it's a significant portion of Selmont that will be serviced in terms of the sewage project as well. So we're making progress. Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, but we're making progress. Governor Ivey also announced, I think it was $4 million or something. I have to take a look at the press release, but a significant amount of money was also donated to various counties for roads and bridges. We didn't get any of that money because I checked. It skipped over the D. It skipped over Dallas County. but a lot of other counties did. But we've been getting some pretty good stuff. Well, hey, look, $4.5 million, that's not anything to sneeze at in terms of infrastructure. And I understand there are a lot of other things that are going on as well. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more right after these messages.
We're with our friends at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC in historic downtown Selma, serving the area for 80 years. Barry Parker is with us right now. We're talking 2026 has just arrived.
That's right, George. New Year kickoff. Hey, now I haven't been here for 80 years, but I've been in the business for a little over half of that. But we have been located right here in downtown Selma for 80 plus years, and we're doing business, tell you, George, the old-fashioned way, working one deal at a time. We want to get to know you and your family. We want you to become part of the Reliable family. So come by and see us in the market for a new Chevrolet or GMC or even a pre-owned automobile. We have got you covered there for all your driving needs. And then same thing with service. We can do all your service work. We can do all your financing. We're, as I say all the time, we're a one-stop shop where we sell them and service and do the financing for you right here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC.
You mentioned the financing part of it. There may be someone along the way that has had a little credit hiccup or a hardship in the past. We're looking for good people, not necessarily good credit, right?
That's right, George. We're set up with credit acceptance. They're known to help you reestablish your credit. Hey, it could be, several reasons why you have some credit problems. But as I say, it's not a problem here at Reliable Chevrolet GMC. We can get you reestablished and get you riding today.
All here at Reliable Chevrolet and GMC. Come see the difference about local treatment in Central Alabama at Reliable, where they truly have it all. If you're considering renovating your home, doing a restoration, or new home construction, call Steve Johnson at Renovation Plus, 334-412-1939. He's not a handyman. He's a master craftsman who does the job right the first time, with minimal disturbance keeping your home clean. Here's one of Steve's customers.
This is Vandra at Cornerstone. He just does wonderful work. Everyone that I have sent to him has been very pleased. And I do not recommend people normally because I'm always scared they won't produce what they say. But I have no worries recommending him.
Choose the right contractor from the start when it comes to a renovation, restoration, or home building project. Contact Steve Johnson at Renovation Plus, specializing in all phases of home repair, paint, and remodel. 334-412-1930.
1490 WHBB. Good morning on this Friday morning. Randy Williams with you until 10. Earlier this week, of course, Monday was the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Holiday and observance. Safe Haven did their 26 Stop the Violence march from Brown Chapel to the foot of the bridge. There were a lot of people that participated this year, so they had a pretty good turnout. And on a lot of people's minds, of course, was the death of Mark Miles. Mark worked with and touched a lot of people in Selma, and so I'm going to play some of the audio from that, so we can hear so you can hear what was going on if you didn't make it on Monday. Let's pick up with some comments about Mark Miles.
Hey, Mark's death will not be in vain, Reverend. And I just want to read this poem I wrote to you. I'm not going to take much of your time because I know you have a lot of people. I just want this to be a day of action. I just want us to remember the best way to honor Dr. King and Mark is to do the work, to get out of the streets, to get into the schools. Every child needs a mentor in this community. Every school needs help. Every church needs more than prayer. It needs action. So this is what I wrote for Mark. It said, the sorrow I cannot explain. And I hope I can get through it without praying. This sorrow I cannot explain. There is no reason for it. No reason I can name. This warrior, Mark, this warrior who only wanted nonviolent change. Mark Miles, why his life a bullet claim? Why did he die trying to help a brother? Why was he slain? It's just insane. Or was the brother who killed him insane? Or maybe we, the mourners, are the same. Maybe we should share disdain for a silence we cannot explain. But like a river with no travelers, a river with no name, begging for an army of warriors, so victory we can claim. Or will silent killers continue to bury our young in unmarked graves? Or will we choose to end the devil's laughter and Mark's death will be in vain? Brothers and sisters, Mark's death cannot be in vain. We, the living, must continue the work he tried to change. Thank you, Reverend. God bless.
The mayor, our newly elected mayor, told me yesterday, Saturday at Wallace College, we were sitting there having a conversation coming out of an educational summit by Attorney Salon. And the word that kept with me, this young lady was a quotation. She said, Dr. King kept talking about movement. And she said she wanted to know what he meant when he said movement. And he said, it's to gather on the people. But what do people do when they come together? He said that he believed, I'm quoting from our new elected mayor, Mayor Moss. He said, and I'm not sure if he's here, I don't see him here as yet, said he promised to be here. He said that this about Mark Miles, from his recollection, talking with and Reverend Ralph Abernathy, Jimmy Lee Jackson was the catalyst to this movement for Dr. King. And I said, wow. And I know y'all don't want to pick me up with this, but he said that he felt that somehow this is a movement, and somehow our brother Mark Miles name is going to play. And that's up to us. That's up to us. We could gather here, we could talk, we could laugh. But then, you know, a high percentage of us does go home. My brother's a mathematician, and he's been keeping numbers. I should say we've been keeping numbers. In the last 12.5 years, we have lost over 200 men to gun violence. We can't blame this on nobody else. This is on us. This is our problem. You could say it's a brother down the block. You could say it's over drugs. You could say it's over money. But at the end of the day, this is on us. Look at here. I don't care what your bank account look like. You are doing what God called you to do. I don't care how many people you got in your church. You are not doing what God called you to do. We can do better. And we need to do better. We need to do better. I could go on with this, but at this point in time, I want to call a young man, we call a young lady, I want to call a young man that knew Mark. Pastor, across the street. Come on, put those hands together as Pastor Williams come. Come on, Pastor Williams. You can walk faster than that, man. You're a young man.
Everybody, the blessing of the Lord be upon us today. We just feel about Mark. Been knowing Mark for years. Mark worked in my summer camps. We just did 3 days of training to work with young people in our youth programs just in December. I heard news about him. My heart was just so torn. I grieved this thing at all that whole night. You can't hear me? I'm sorry. I should know better. I'm preaching. If we allow what has happened to go unchanged in us, then that is in vain. The Bible tells us plainly that he that considereth the poor lendeth to the Lord. Every time we lose somebody, every time somebody is taken from us, and this is not, by the way, everybody say this was not God's will. This was not the will of God. This ain't God's will. God didn't need another flower in his kingdom. This is not the will of God. The Bible tells us that if we honor our father and our mother, he gives a long life and good life. Mark did that. So this was a demon spirit. And not only was it, here's the thing, guys, we just can't do something physically. This is a spiritual battle that manifests itself in the physical. One more time. This is a spiritual battle we're fighting that manifests itself in spiritual games. The weapons of our warfare cannot just be carnal, but they got to be mighty to God, so they're pulling down these strongholds. Just spoke to the Senate a few months ago about mentoring, how important it is for everybody to reach one. If everybody reaches one, just one, you have to have the whole neighborhood, just get one. And that person changed a life. That person changed the life. That person changed the life. That person changed the life. And now you know the whole community is changed. And we can't complain. So here's the problem. And I speak this from my heart. Please don't think of it hard. We get what we ask for. Israel wanted a king, and they got one. We can't complain about what we tolerate. You can't cast out what you embrace. And we can't rebuke what you won't let go of. Mark touched everybody. Everybody knew. Everybody loved him. Everybody knew that his heart was for the people, for the young people. You know what happens when we lose the young people? They never become adults. They never affect our families. They never affect our communities. I'm speaking today from my heart. Didn't know I was going to say anything, but I do want to say this again. We cannot afford to lose one. If not now, then when? If not us, then who? To whom much is given, much is required. So let's make a pledge that we will reach one child before this month is out. That we'll not reach, I'm saying again, every of us reach one child. We'll change the community. Blessed the Lord be upon you. God bless.
And that was Pastor Reverend F.L. Williams of Tabernacle of Praise. Let's take this this break, and I'll be back with more right after these messages.
Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means you never have to worry about the season or the weather with online banking. It's always there and always on, 24/7, 365, even on holidays.
I'm Richard Walters, president of First Cahaba Bank, here to let you know that all of our online banking resources have been invaluable to our First Cahaba customers. Although our lobbies are open, personal and business customers have discovered how convenient and easy it has become to manage financial resources without having to come inside the bank. And all of our online services, including mobile banking app, are free. Visit firstcahaba.com to get all of the information, or feel free to call any of our locations in Selma, Troy, or Gulf Shores for any questions or information. Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means we are constantly focused on the very latest technology for customer convenience and overall satisfaction. We would love for you to join our growing community bank family. First Cahaba Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This week, Dave's Market in Valley Grande has great specials on their delicious meats. For example, Blackwell Angus beef bottom round or rump roast, just $4.39 a pound. The 3-slab pack of pork spare ribs, $1.79 a pound. And get 2 1-pound packages of delicious Conecuh smoked sausage, just $9. Shop and save at Dave's Market, Highway 22, Valley Grande.
Yeah, we got them at Meadows Tire and Automotive. A huge selection of tires in all styles and sizes from top name brands like Hercules, Kenda, Michelin, Goodyear, and others. Plus, we're your auto repair shop too, specializing in brakes, oil changes, alignments, suspensions, and more. Service, quality, selection, and more. We got them. Come see them. Our deals you won't believe them. Meadows Tire and Automotive, 2897 Citizens Parkway in Selma. Call or text us at 334-875-7276.
Jim Creech, Pilgrim McBride Drug Company, wants to advise everyone that now is a great time to vaccinate. Come in and talk to our pharmacists about vaccines for you and your family. Protect yourself and your loved ones from flu, pneumonia, shingles, and whooping cough. Also, ask them about nutrient depletions from medications that can cause you to lose important nutrients from your body. And stay healthy through this upcoming season.
1490 WHBB. We're listening to some of the audio from Monday, the Safe Havens 26th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. March and Caravan. And if you recall, Tuesday, I played all of the links, most of the program of the Links Unity Breakfast, but I hadn't done anything on Safe Havens March. And so let's listen to a few more minutes of some of the comments that were made about people that attended that march.
Up to the mic is probate judge Jimmy Nunn. Put your hands together for probate judge Jimmy Nunn.
Judge, good to see you, man.
See you again.
All right, all right.
Let me say good afternoon, everyone. Truly, it's a blessing to be out here this evening in this cold weather. But last year when we were out here, it was cold last year. And we had a wonderful time out here. So good to see you all. And we just thank God for Reverend Bowen, for the work and his team that he's doing. It really takes an agitator. Like a washing machine to stir it up.
to keep it stirred up, you know. And if we don't do that, sometimes we will get complacent in our ways and our doings because we will forget what happened in the past. And it just seems like we was at this same location last year, talking about the same things, talking about the same killings, talking about the same violence. But we know that things can change. I was listening to that song, that first song. A change is bound to come. You know, and we're waiting for that change. And the only person that we can wait for that change is, as Bishop said, to Jesus, to God. God is going to be that change. And when it comes time for God to move his hand, when it comes time for God to take his hand off of us, God still is on the throne. God is still high and looking low and seeing exactly what's happening. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. It doesn't matter who is in the State House. It doesn't matter who is in the county house or the city house. Believe me, God is allowing this to happen for a reason. And things happen for a reason. As the bishop said, things happen for a reason. But we got to see how are we going to come out of this situation that God has placed us in? How are we going to react from it? But I'm just saying that I know we should not let marks of life be in vain. Not just this life, but any of life. A killing is a killing. That's a soul that has been taken untimely. And we have got to do more as a people, not just in Dallas County, but in this state and in this nation. But it's a ripple effect. If ICE can go around killing people, then everybody else feel like they can do the same thing. And it dribbles down all the way into the city and to the county. But we know that the Bible says that if my people, and I said that last year, if my people, and we got to remember that scripture, who are called by my name, that's the scripture. He said, he will heal the land. He didn't ask us to do it. He gave us some things for us to do. We got to kneel. We got to pray. We got to do all of that. And then he said that he would do the healing. So he's waiting for us to come together as a nation, as a people. But thank you all for coming out. Reverend, thank you for your job. Well done. Keep up the good work. Last year I said the same thing. We are the elected officials. For the last 2 or 3 years, Senator, I see you. I see you. Jamal, I see you. I see you. That's what, I see you back there. That's what the leaders, we have got to lead by example. We got to lead by example. If you want to be an elected official, then you need to be leading. And it's not just coming down here, but actions speak louder than words. Yes. Thank you.
I want to say this very quickly. Probate Judge Nunn has been a friend to the Safe Haven Center way before he even dreamed of being the probate judge. I'll go to City Hall before he was the city attorney. He said, look here, you need to come back. I got a check for you, but you need to come back. He was doing this. He was a friend to us way back in the day. I would take that money and tell him I got to go to court. I got to be in the courtroom. I got to be in the jailhouse. I got to go to the prison. You all don't know this. But we not just visit the Dallas County Jail or the Dallas County Courthouse. There's some people sitting around you right now. I met them in the prison. I'm not going to call them out now. But that's where I met them. Then they got a call to start going to the federal prison. Sometimes 6 hours from here, sometimes 8 hours from here. But you don't know that. I just came back from the place, Yazoo, Mississippi, the federal prison. A scary place. But I had a young man that said he needed to see me ASAP. See, you just looking at the man that's standing before you. You're not concerned. Most of us isn't, I should say. So, probate Judge Nunn, like my pastor said yesterday,
It could be the last time I'm seeing you. It's scary. It's a scary situation. But it could be the last time. But you've been a friend to us, and we are a friend to you. Thank you so much.
Right. Yes.
And, I just wanted to play a little bit of some of the comments that were made on Monday at the Safe Haven 26th annual Martin Luther King March and Caravan. And what else happened on Monday? Of course, we had Walk Across America was here. They fed a lot of folks, gave away a lot of free barbecue plates. I noticed a lot of folks were coming back and forth between the two events. And Walk Across America, they walked across the bridge, and there were obviously some students who have been cleaning up on Monday. They joined in and they walked across the bridge along with the tour bus and minivan that was with them. And so that was Monday. And of course, earlier that day, the Selma chapter of the Links Incorporated had their annual Unity Breakfast. Judge Vanetta Walker, Perkins Walker, was the keynote speaker. She gave an excellent speech, and she gave a history of how the Links had started and what they had been doing for the last 30 years or so. And each of the presidents, she talked about each of the presidents, starting with Miss Ludell Bryant, who was one of the founding members. And so it was very informative, very educational, and inspiring. So Monday was a pretty good day. And then earlier this week, probate judge Jimmy Nunn came in on Wednesday, in fact, and talked about the situation with the Dallas County Jail. He and the attorney, they have an attorney that specifically deals with these insurance companies and this whole issue with the jail. Sheriff Grantham called in also, and they clarified what has been happening. A lot of money has been spent, but the most of the money that was spent presently to date on the Dallas County Jail went to the roof. That was the first thing they did. They had to put a new roof on and protect the structure and the infrastructure of what was left of the jail after the tornado. And as I understand it, quite a bit of the infrastructure is still in place. And so, and of course, the Perry Varner boot camp is operational, and the Juvenile Justice Center is operational. They had to spend money to get those two organizations and programs running, and so and they were able to do that. Several million has been spent, and I believe probate judge Jimmy Nunn said that several million have been set aside to wait just in case some other emergency comes up related to that property, but that they're working through a procedure, as the attorney explained. Also, you can see that full interview on the selmapostherald.com YouTube channel. And I'm running a little bit behind, but over the weekend I hope to go ahead and edit and put together everything that needs to be posted on the selmapostherald.com website. It may be easier for you to see it like that. And so I'm going to have a special section. I'll let you know about the details on Monday as to where you'll be able to find some of this information. But the attorney explained that we're getting ready to go into the last phase of the construction of the jail. And they had to do asbestos testing and lead paint testing, and make sure that everything as the jail is being remodeled, that it is safe environmentally and that it conforms to the code. And then now you got to do the electrical, the electrical and the digital, the computer, the computers, and the jail is a complicated facility, and to my knowledge, there haven't been any breakout. Nobody's been able to escape from the Dallas County Jail. I don't know if that's because they didn't want to or because they couldn't, but either way, you know, they didn't get out. And I've been to the jail a couple of times. I'm not going to disclose all the reasons why, huh? No. I've been to the Dallas County Jail for a lot of media related media related reasons. I know somebody out there saying, "Yeah, right. We know you got fingerprinted, huh?" No, but I remember going through. I've done a couple of tours with different organizations, and it's a complicated process, and to keep the doors locked and unlocked, and you got a command center and video cameras. And I believe, in fact, Sheriff Grantham had just updated the system to where inmates could visit with their relatives by way of the internet or by way of video cameras. And so there's a lot that goes into it, and security. And I'm sure that we've heard over the last several months, there have been several incidences in different parts of the country, including Alabama, where inmates have escaped. They've used some very creative techniques. And but at the end of the day, the technology has to be in place. So they're in the last stages, the final stage, and everything has to be approved by the insurance company. You have to dot all of your I's and cross your T's, because fraud is real. And the way that the first way to stop and prevent fraud is through documentation. And this is why, and that translates into transparency. This is why all these financial audits are being ordered for various governmental agencies to stay on top of it. Now, we see an example of what happens when the financial controls are not in place, evidently. In the first, most recent event that comes to mind is Minneapolis, where they admittedly have been a victim of billions, not million, billions with a B, billions of dollars that the state of Minnesota has been defrauded in the federal government through various programs. Now, the only way that could have happened is somebody was not watching. Somebody didn't do their job. And I don't know who, but that's what these investigations are going to uncover. And that's why you got so many people probably running for cover, because eventually it may come out as to who dropped the ball. And so yeah, that's a very real thing. Speaking of Minnesota and ICE, now these protesters stepped over the line last week when they invaded the privacy of parishioners at a church. And the reason they justified it is they say they think the pastor was working along with ICE. But first of all, let's be straight about this thing, right? The ICE agents are doing their job. They are charged with enforcing immigration law. And many of the suspects that they go after, they have been given warrants that have been signed off on by the Department of Homeland Security that has identified a specific person who has been identified as an illegal immigrant. And when they do this, the Homeland Security judges sign off on it. It supersedes search warrants and other instruments that local judges would ordinarily use. But remember now, we're not talking about citizens. This is why the false narrative and all these false narratives and people jumping ahead and second guessing our government officials. This is what happens when they do that. And so now it's also coming out that most of these, are a significant number of the protesters against ICE in Minnesota, are not from Minnesota. They're paid protesters coming in from other states. And even though, if you recall, there were people saying, well, Antifa doesn't exist. There's no such thing as Antifa. Antifa basically means anarchist. And anarchy means anarchists don't accept government or any form of organized rule, and certainly not the rule of law. Anarchy is just what it's anti-government, anti-structure, chaos. Basically, is what anarchy promotes: chaos. And so is this really what we want? Do we really want to live like some of these other countries have to live every day with the threat of violence? And so, in other words, at the end of the day, I believe our system, our American system, with in our Constitution, which protects our freedom of speech and freedom of religion, is being abused by outside forces. And then those same outside forces, their agenda is to change the system so that we no longer have freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Now, you want to know what a dictatorship is? We all these false accusations and all the stuff that people, the narratives, sounds good and get people all worked up over a lie. Well, let's take a look at what is a real dictatorship. Well, let's look at the thousands of people that the Ayatollah Khomeini in Iran executed. And then they were getting ready to hang another 800, according to news sources, but because of the threat that the United States would get involved, it was a deterrent. So they decided not to hang the other 800 or so people. But according to news reports, all of the agencies, even the ones that are supportive, of this regime in Iran, they even admit that thousands of people were mowed down in the streets of Iran because they were protesting the conditions that they live under. That's a dictatorship. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning again. Do you remember when Paula White used to always come here to Selma in order to teach people about religion?
No.
Okay. I just know she's Paula White King now, and she had another name before that. But anyway, it's interesting because that was one of the questions that people asked, how many times she had been married. Well, anyway, do you know who I'm talking about when I say Paula White?
No, I've forgotten. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not. No, I don't know. To answer your question.
You just mentioned a name earlier,
Go ahead.
and I know that person used to always invite
What's
her
happening?
in, so I just thought maybe I'll ask that question because a lot of these people who can upheld the Christian faith, we're finding out that a lot of times.
Yep. If you want to make a comment, call the station. The number is 334.
It's interesting because now that we're mourning, because the funeral is tomorrow.
875-1490. What was that?
The funeral is tomorrow, right?
Oh, you mean for Mark Miles? Yes, ma'am. At Selma High School. I don't know the time.
Okay. The lady called earlier yesterday and told us what time.
875-1490.
I probably won't make it, but I certainly would have my thoughts there. So I just wondered. I'm still mourning Mark. I remember him as a child, Randy, as a teenager. And how he moved around in our community and how respectful he was toward us and courteous toward us and did what we asked him to do. So it's just painful. But anyway, I just wanted to say that because it's not always the bad ones. It's the good ones that the devil wants to. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for calling. 875-1490 and 1492 are the numbers to call if you have comments or questions. And so, gone too soon, another untimely death. But as I was listening to both, I said Reverend, but Bishop F.L. Williams and probate judge Jimmy Nunn, they both alluded to, the fact that it's unacceptable, that these acts of violence. We can do something. We can curb and control our behavior. self-control, not gun control for me, self-control, you know, and it's just unfortunate that far too many of us decide that the only way we're going to get our point across is to pull that pistol out and shoot somebody, take a life. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Oh, okay, that caller is gone. Let me take this break, and then we'll be back with more after these messages.
Another day. Don't wait to get sick. Your vaccination destinations are Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy at Dave's Market. Get the flu and pneumonia vaccines now before flu season arrives. And if you haven't had the shingles vaccine, now is the time. And you can get all of the vaccines at any of our convenient locations. If you haven't heard, the prescription laws have changed in Alabama, which now allows local pharmacies to be even more competitive with the national chains, meeting the requirements of most insurance companies. If you had to give up your local pharmacy for a big box store, now is the time to come back home to your locally owned pharmacy. Brown Drug, Dallas Avenue Pharmacy, Med Center Pharmacy, and Valley Grand Pharmacy inside Dave's Market. Locally owned with pharmacists that know you by name, caring for you and about you, all a part of the Brown Drug family of locally owned pharmacies.
Hey, brother, saw you call.
John, I've been thinking about our days during the war, and
I'm on my way.
thanks, man.
If you are a veteran struggling with depression, anxiety, or need someone to talk to, call 800-273-8255. Press 1. It's private and free 24/7. Call 800-273-8255 or visit vetsforhope.com. Sponsored by the Partners.
1490 WHBB. Viewpoint, you're on the air. Okay, that caller is gone. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Randy. Good morning to the city of Selma. Good morning to all those who turned out for the march on Dr. Martin Luther King Day on Monday. Just appreciate everybody. I tried to call the names, you get in trouble. But I want to say just briefly, I just appreciate the turnout. Just appreciate people like Judge Keaton Nunn, our district judge, Judge Walker, and of course our mayor. And we appreciate everybody, man. Everybody that takes it. It's a teamwork. It's a teamwork. Mark started this thing with us 20 some years ago. He was on that flatbed truck along with Perkins and Ezekiel Bentway, and I go to call their names again. And Mr. Ernest Wright, the late Ernest Wright, and all these people. He was on that flatbed truck. Mark was there giving his testimony. It looks, remember like yesterday. That he had turned his life around. He was right there. I always call him my son. I just speak with his mom and say, hey, where my son at? Well, we gotta dust off the cobweb or whatever it is, man. We gotta get busy, man. We can take the team. This is teamwork, Randy. And it's gonna take a team to do it. We gotta get this demon of gun violence out of our city, man.
Well, I hear you. I think you're absolutely right. I don't know what it's going to take to the people that need to hear the message. I hope that they're listening. Some of them are, and some of them aren't. And some of us don't know we're the next victim or that we're the next perpetrator of the violent act. A lot of us have a short fuse when it comes to our temper, and many times, and please don't, if you mix your temper and anger with alcohol and drugs, that's a terrible combination because it usually ends up making poor decisions. So, there's a news story, in fact, today that talked about the lack of psychiatric and mental health, that Alabama is dead last in the nation for providing mental health care for people who need the help. So, you got to first diagnose who they are, you know what I mean, and have a place for them. And so we're way behind the curve. And that might be why the violence is so regular in our communities.
Well, I would agree, Randy. There's much a degree of mental illness, but I believe we not as things as we can be. Put it that way. I'm not trying to put pressure on anybody because you're not going to do what I do, and I'm not going to do what you do. Thank God that there is a God. So I'm not questioning your God either. I'm just saying that we, the people of Summer, we got to get involved. We can't wait until these things happen to pull out and say how much we love Mark and how much of this and this and that. We are known by our works. We're people of works. You got to put your hand to the plow. You can't wait until your next door neighbor. And I agree there's a degree of mental illness again. But we're not even speaking to each other. So we got a long way to go. But we can start like of last Monday. That's the goal aiming to us getting involved, coming back to the table. We can't wait. We can't wait to get back to the table next Martin Luther King Day. We got to do this ASAP. Because there's quite a few people that were there that took this word with them. And God, I mean, you know, there were people from Birmingham. Of course, Dr. Knight came all the way from Atlanta. And he can't wait to get back here. He can't wait to share the message in Atlanta. He was in the midst of that back in 80 with Wayne Williams' situation. He lived through that.
Well, you know, some people may not know what you're referring to when you talk about Wayne Williams in Atlanta. Talk a little bit about what had happened then in the 80s in Atlanta with the children.
Well, we had, I think it was 80 or 81, if my memory goes back, with a situation where Wayne Williams, this young man, was accused of killing several, 26, 28 young kids, most of them children, underage children. And up to this day, of course, he got a life sentence. Up to this day, we really don't know if he
maintains his innocence. And these were African-American children. People need to know that black children were being targeted for doing that, the serial killing.
Exactly. And then we had a similar situation with a young lady in Birmingham. Don't want to call her name because she's very sensitive to her son. And she started the same. She tried to play copycat off of what the situation with Wayne Williams when they had. I was in New York City. They had it on the front page. I think 20 or 21 children faces on the front page of the New York Times. And we got pretty close to that right here in Summer. And every time I say this, people say, well, oh, you just talking. I'm not just talking. We have lost over 200 young people to gun violence in the last 10, 12 years. If this was across the track, we had martial law here. Not the one upsetting about it, but you know what I'm talking about. Common sense tells us that. And we just go home after we go home like nothing happened. Go back to Walmart, go back to work. This is serious, Randy. This is real serious. So again,
well, Reverend, we have talked privately off the air about this in great detail. And at the end of the day, in order for us to really begin to heal our community, the churches have got to step up and do more outreach, not just one or two churches. Right now, we've got a handful of religious organizations. As the scripture says, the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And so we got to reach into the hearts and souls and minds of our community.
Hey, Randy, that's the scripture right there.
Yeah, I know. Hey, look, I know because I'm one of the laborers. I'm one of the few laborers get burned out a couple of times, huh?
There's a few, man. Few laborers.
That's the problem, see?
Yeah.
And we got plenty of folks that know what to do. We got people that know how to do the right thing. We got a lot of love, but if that love is not, but love mixed with fear, see, fear is a real problem, and rightfully so, because you're right. No, you don't just need to, and just anybody can't step up to somebody on the street and start being able to talk to them without the right training, because the results could be disastrous. You better know what you're doing. I think that's appropriate.
What gets me is when we have folks coming way out of Indiana, folks coming way out of wherever, We had the man that came from Germany because his father marched with Dr. King. And he came all the way from Germany. So he might have had his days mixed up or his time mixed up. Maybe he felt that his bush, I don't know. But he came here representing his deceased father. And you down the block and you can't show up. You down the corner and you can't show up.
Well, maybe we need to come up with ways, other ways people can get involved and contribute positively to what we're trying to do. If they don't, everybody doesn't want to, everybody's not a marcher. You know, I've got a video clip that I saw here recently of Dr. King. Dr. King said, "I'm tired of marching." And so a lot of folks think the same way. I'm tired of I ain't marching no more. So we come up with some new strategies, I think, and some fresh approaches,
You can do this like this. I got some young men in my neighborhood, and they get together every 2 weeks and have a cookout. I don't know if they can do it now when the weather changes, but they get together all the summer and have a cookout like every other week.
Food works, but you got to be careful because, again, all it takes is the wrong temperament and the wrong person in the crowd, and boom, you got another incident, another violent incident.
Well, I've been actually visiting there and what have you, because it's right in my neighborhood.
I think you called me once from that event. I said and I want to invite them in to come in and talk so the people know what they're doing.
Exactly. And every time they have a cookout, I'm right there with them. I'm right there and say, man, I'm so proud of you brothers, man, because, they'll say when we get together, it's gunplay. And you guys are laughing, you're communicating, you're doing good stuff, you're talking with each other. Man, that's wonderful.
Well, look, I got some other folks trying to get through. I better go to the other line, but let you make a closing remark. I played some of the sound bites from Monday's march earlier.
Randy, go right ahead. But we just appreciate you, Randy. They mentioned your name. We appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that showed up because it's going to take a village. Okay?
Yes, sir. No doubt. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be talking. We'll keep us posted on what you guys are doing. Okay. I think that caller is gone. Okay. All right. Let's take this break, and I'll be back with more after these messages.
For the big game or the family get-together, Dave's Market would be glad to steam some delicious shrimp or other seafood available in the store, and vegetables too. If you haven't tried one of the rotisserie chickens at Dave's, pick up one. You will find it is fantastic. And now you can pick up delicious, hot, fresh Hunt Brothers pizza and wings. All this and more now at Dave's Market on Highway 22 in Valley Grant.
If you hit a deer and need repair, call Hughes Body Shop, 334-875-4470. Located 7 miles out Summerfield Road. Your deer damage vehicle repair specialist, Hughes Body Shop.
Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means you never have to worry about the season or the weather with online banking. It's always there and always on, 24/7, 365, even on holidays.
I'm Richard Walters, president of First Cahaba Bank, here to let you know that all of our online banking resources have been invaluable to our First Cahaba customers. Although our lobbies are open, personal and business customers have discovered how convenient and easy it has become to manage financial resources without having to come inside the bank. And all of our online services, including mobile banking app, are free. Visit firstcahaba.com to get all of the information, or feel free to call any of our locations in Selma, Troy, or Gulf Shores for any questions or information. Banking the way it should be at First Cahaba Bank means we are constantly focused on the very latest technology for customer convenience and overall satisfaction. We would love for you to join our growing community bank family. First Cahaba Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Meadows Tire and Automotive is a local family-owned company that takes pride in taking care of your tire and automotive service needs. Whether it's your car, truck, camper, RV, trailer, or more, we've got you covered. See us first at 2897 Citizens Parkway in Selma. For better service, variety, selection, and more, we gotta come see them. Our deals you won't believe them. Meadows Tire and Automotive, where service matters most. Call or text us at 334-875-7276 and online at meadowstire.com.
1490 WHBB. Good morning. Let me tell you about a few things coming up. Veterans veterans and family members, you're being invited to the Veteran Community Resource Fair at the VFW on the Kings Bend Road on Thursday, January 29th at 10 a.m. This is from Mr. Aaron Roper. He says, if you need assistance with VA benefits or have questions about eligibility, claims, or available resources, we encourage you to attend. Experienced professionals will be on site to provide guidance and answer your questions. This event is an opportunity to connect directly with experts who can help you better understand and access the benefits you have earned. This is the Veteran Community Resource Fair, Thursday, January 29th, 10 a.m. Get connected, get informed, get the resources you deserve. It's free to the public. Community vendors, VA administration claims clinic, VA raters will be on site, raters. Health and wellness resources will be made available. Community panels and conversations at the VFW 299 Kings Bend Road. And that's right near the corner of Highway 80 in the Kings Bend Road. You make that right by the Strong's 3 sign. The best food in the world, Strong's 3. They're out on the scene today. They added ribeye steak to the menu today. You may want to check that out, huh? They have barbecue turkey wings and barbecue wings and leg quarters and pork steak and wonderful cake to go along with it from Heavenly Cake. So anyway, anytime when I hear the Kings Bend Road and Highway 80, I think about Strong's 3. So that's where the VFW is. And, you know, I met a woman from the VA last Friday. I was at at Selma High School for that Day of Action that Channel 12 gave. Excellent event. Oh, man, all kinds of resources. I'm still going through. Like I say, I'm behind, but don't worry. God willing, I've got a lot of good stuff that is going to be made available to the public for free. Selma Post Herald is the free press. Not like Detroit Free Press calls themselves a free press, but you got to pay for that. We're really the free press, huh? Yeah, but that's another story. But we got some things coming that I'll be sharing with you in terms of resources. And so I met a woman from the local veterans clinic. They've got some services that they provide as veterans. There's a lot of stuff out there we need to be getting to you, huh? Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Friday, good morning, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Man, you know what? God is good. That's all I can say.
Good to hear from you. Hadn't heard from you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you, man. Just been busy this thing called life,
Yes, sir.
Oh God, listen, man, I know we got a lot of issues going on in our community, and it's going to take many to band together. Mr. Bond is right. No time to stand on the sideline. What's going on in our community, the sadness is not the perpetrators themselves. We understand that. But it's the silence that's complicit. When we know there's issues going on with individuals that we don't step in and be our brothers and our sisters keepers. That's what the Bible requires. So we're actually failing God when we're not fulfilling to help our brothers and sisters when they're in trouble. So, that old saying, silence is complicit. And we know, some of us know when there's trouble on the horizon and we fail to do anything or say anything. I find that very disturbing in my spirit.
I hear you. It disturbs me too. And I'll tell you, when I heard about the death of Mark Miles, I was unexpectedly affected. I didn't expect my reaction to be like that. Mark and I, would see each other in different things. I'm sure we've had at least one or two disagreements, but we would agree to disagree. You know what I mean? But I was outraged to hear that he was killed. That really affected me.
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances.
Neither do I. And, we can't go by rumors.
Yeah, but, I don't know how it could come to that, but that's how so that's where we're losing. We're losing to the devil. We're not losing to each other. We're not losing to the flesh.
But the devil's running out of time. He's getting awfully desperate, and that's what it looks like to me. He must be running out of time.
Oh yeah. This is what he does. He's glorifying this, and that's what we have to fight against. What the devil wants. That once we root that out of our system and our spirit, that's when we'll begin to see changes. And it takes everybody. It takes spirits. It takes our community. You know, I grew up at a time of the village, not just the home. It was called the village. We lost the village. The village has crumbled on us. And that's what we have to take back or rebuild the village. You know, we have those that are tearing down the village, but we have to be steadfast and say.
And I'm wondering, you know, if the people who are tearing down, and I hear what you're saying, I agree, but I'm wondering whether or not they know any better. You know, I mean, is it, you know, then is it ignorance, or is it, you know, is that what they want? Do they understand that they're tearing themselves down too?
No, they don't, Randy. It's just my humble opinion, because this has become a generational thing, if you follow what I'm saying. I've come up with a generation of goodness, so now there's segments of that is gone, not within me and my structure, but so many structures.
Well, some of the young people feel like goodness is weakness. That's I think is a part of the issue, and one of the factors we think it's weak to show love. It's weak to care.
Yeah, it's a masculine culture thing. I must show that I'm strong. You know, you're strong when you show kindness and courtesy and love. That's strong. You know, anyone can hate and be a bully and be the mean guy. It takes a special person to love.
But some of the rap songs, some of the popular rap tunes, and some of the popular TV shows, and some of the other mass media and social media and TikTok, they're promoting just the opposite.
Well, this is where I'm saying those that are supposed to monitor and be in charge of nurturing, that's where the failures will come, not in the young people. Because I've often said, I don't care how bad a young person is, a teenager, 13, 14, 12, they're not responsible for themselves. Someone's responsible for them, or should be responsible for them. So those that are ahead have failed. So that's become the problem until our society starts holding those that are responsible accountable. The generational failures are doomed to continue. So it takes a heart, it takes God, you know, on Sundays, not to throw a religious factor into this, but it is, you know.
Well, that's the problem. Some of us have lost that spiritual mind and that spiritual eye and heart that was the heart of our center of our community. Much of that is gone.
Yes. And our community leaders, you know, elected, non-elected, we have to band together, not be separate. Our churches have divided amongst each other. You know, our churches only fulfill with each other. Certain people are cast out. God is not pleased with that. And that's where a lot of our failures will come at.
Our fight is not with flesh and blood, but with spiritual wickedness in high places.
That's it, brother. So we got to continue to push forward, trust God, and go back to God. That's it. And you know, and we have to push our young folks to be more caring, to be more polite, courteous. You know, our young people don't even acknowledge their elders anymore. You know, that's what's sad. You know, you'll walk by a young man, a young woman won't even acknowledge you.
Well, see, the storms of life will correct that, unfortunately. When they go through enough and eventually start looking around and have no support and no knowledge and no wisdom, you know, and then when the first little wind that comes along and blows them over, then they'll understand. But it's too late many times by then.
Oh, yeah. But we got to continue continue to pray. I know, this thing's not going to happen overnight, but it takes a lot of input. It takes everyone to care. Each one, reach one, teach one. That's what it's going to take for all of us. But anyway, I'll leave that.
Well, thank you so much, brother. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Those are pearls of wisdom.
Yeah. And Randy, one last thing, I really want to put this out as well. With the recent repair of our highways, do we know where the next phase is going to come? It seems like
it's not coming, huh? I suspect the weather has got to be a factor. Because it may be too cold for them to really do anything. And it's been either cold or rain, and then we may have had 1 or 2 warm days, and then the holidays. I suspect that the weather it looks to me, I don't know, but I need to find out. I'll try and get with the Alabama Department of Transportation.
If we could get some of our state or local officials in to give an update, because we don't want, there's cutout lanes. I'm sure you've seen it, and others have. There's cutout lanes that are pretty dangerous right now.
Well, look, my car was running fine until the work started. Something shook loose. I don't know what was shaking loose, but it did some damage.
Yeah, but we don't want to forget that. You start something, we want to see it finish.
Yes, sir, no doubt. Well, I'm gonna get on top of that. I'll see if I can't get somebody in to bring us up to date.
Please do.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Please pray, but let's pray.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. He's so right. We got to stay in prayer. The prayers of the righteous avails much, and righteous is not necessarily. I don't want to use the term do-gooder. You don't have to be perfect to be righteous, but I think my thoughts are righteous means believers. If you believe in God, if you believe in Christ, the prayers of the righteous avails much. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Good morning, Randy.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Summer is tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
It's 11 o'clock at Selma High?
Uh-huh.
Wow. Boy, I tell you, yeah. Well, I guess that's a good place for it because it's probably going to need that kind of space.
Yeah, because he's well known. And his body is Auburn Locking. They used to call it Louis Brother, but it's Auburn Locking now.
Right. Okay, good. I'm so glad you've been sharing that information with us.
And also, Randy, today is the day that you start dialing those 10 numbers, because I was sitting up here dialing 7, and then it wouldn't go through, so I forgot you said the day is
the day is the day that we start 334. You got to dial all 10 numbers.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you for reminding us. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yep, she's absolutely right. Well, 334 is, but I've been dialing 334 for some time now. And so, so now everybody's got to do it, right? And then there's going to be a new area code that's going to be added to some people, as we go along. And so, yep, the prayers of the righteous avails much. The FCC has just recently, the chairman has announced that they're getting ready to crack down on the networks. They came out with some statistics that showed that for the last several years, that the major networks have had something like 30 Democratic candidates to 1 Republican. Their guests have been 30 liberals to 1 conservative. And they're saying enough is enough because the act, the FCC that created the FCC, the act of 1934, required equal time for points of view. And these so-called comedians, they're not comedians anymore. They've become political activists and opinionated, and they're attempting to shape the court of public opinion. That's not comedy. But that's a hard lesson to learn, though. I learned years ago in the entertainment business that, one of the worst things you can attempt to do is to try and, for instance, get people to register to vote at a party. They are not there for that. They're people that have a good time and dance and eat and that kind of thing. They are not there to hear political jargon. But that's what has happened. And that's why the Tonight Show is being canceled, because they can't afford to carry the 20 or 30 people that the millions of dollars that they're spending on salaries that's not generating any income. See, the economic reality is going to solve a lot of that. Shout out to our president, President Trump. You know, we talked a lot of trash about, oh, he's getting ready to take over Iceland with the military. You know, nothing will ever. Well, the president came back with a framework so that the Golden Dome can be the first. Some of the critical elements of the Golden Dome will be located where? On Iceland, in Iceland. And the deal has been made with NATO. So, you know, like some of the old folks would tell me, a heap see, but a few know. Ignorance is bliss. And so the security of this nation should always be first. In not knowing our history, you know, this is not anything new. As people have pointed out, do you realize, how do you think we got New Orleans? What do you think the Louisiana Purchase was in American history? That's almost half the country that the United States purchased from France. Have we forgotten? We brought Alaska from Russia. And what about the islands in the Pacific? These, you know, so you know, I've got to give this administration credit for going back to basics. And if you're not careful, that's right. And China and Russia, you know, and they're doing their job. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're looking out for the best interests of their nations. So should we. So we'll see how this thing turns out. But I suspect there's a lot of, you know, again, when you get on that level, there's a lot that we don't know. But I do know one thing. It's a dangerous world. And I didn't realize there's over 1 million people, illegal immigrants. There's over 1 million illegal immigrants who have self-deported. They're getting to put some money in their pocket and a free trip back home with some money in their pocket. They're self-deporting. But you're not going to hear a lot of that because it doesn't fit this negative narrative that there are forces and factors within some of our mainstream media that want to see this movement towards socialism. But socialism, well, let's see what happens in Minneapolis today. Let's see what kind of an economic boycott happens. I'm not talking about a handful of people making a lot of noise. Let's see what happens. I suspect nothing. That we'll see where the people of Minneapolis are. You know, not the paid protesters that are being brought in from other states. Not Antifa that worships chaos and lawlessness. Whether somebody wants to hear that or not, I'm sorry. It is what it is. And you know, and anybody would who in the world would go walk into a church service in the middle of a church service and disrupt it because you want to be front and center? Well, I understand there's been an arrest made. And the woman is arrested, heavily associated with Black Lives Matter. Viewpoint, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing? This is Brother Muhammad in Stop the Violence with Brother Bowen.
We got less than a minute. You're gonna have to make it quick.
Think of this the problem I got with her. But no, I do want to thank everybody for helping us and you blessed with family and everybody else is helping us with the Stop the Violence. So that's what we need to do. I know we got out of time. I just want to say thank you all for everything. God bless you. God bless family, you know. So thank you, man. Thank you for helping us, man. Yeah. All the people who help put this thing, man.
Well, let's hope it does some good. Let's hope that it starts, that we can help stopping the violence. Gotta go. Thank you. Thank you for calling, Brother Muhammad. We've been joined. We haven't been. Okay. I'm going to say I'll see you Sunday morning. You know, and then good Lord willing, and of course Monday 6 to 8 for the Great Awakening, 8:05 a Viewpoint. Watch this weather. We got a winter weather advisory. It may not be as bad, but still keep up with it. Stay tuned for Fox News.
About 200 million Americans are in for the same thing this weekend. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News from New Mexico to New England.
A slow evolving, slow moving nightmare of